what a treat it is when you are able to talk to one of the greatest of all time, who is not only one of the greatest of all time in terms of fighting in the cage, but now turning into one of the greatest minds in the game. What he's doing on his YouTube channel, nothing short of amazing. He has teamed up with our good friend Michael Wansover, and they are leveling things up. They are taking things to a whole other stratosphere. We'll get into that and more with the great Demetrious Johnson, a.k.a. Mighty Mouse. I mean, look at this. The setup is primo, the camera quality, the belts, the blurry. I mean, it's just tremendous. Hello, DJ. How are you?
What's going on, Ariel? Thanks for having me on, man.
It's so nice. You know, there was once a time where you didn't like to come on camera. Do you remember those days? You would just do it via the phone. Now here you are looking like you have a more professional setup than I do in my studio.
Well, things have changed. Let's just say things have changed. And, you know, back in the day when I was getting ready for my title fights and competing, I was more focused on that. But now, since I'm older, I am investing more time into things that are going to be able to be around a lot longer than my body can last. So that makes sense. So yeah, invest in the studio. You're in the Mighty Cast studio right now where I shoot from my house. And yeah, it's pretty damn nice, right?
Okay, so let me ask you about this, because there's a lot of guys doing things, and yes, it is nice. Sorry to not answer the question. There's a lot of guys in the game doing things, fighters doing things. You do things differently on two fronts. Number one, I think your setup is elite, but also you're doing interviews as well as, you're not just doing like, hey, Ariel talked about this on his show today, and this is what I want to say. You're doing breakdowns, you're doing interviews. You just had Sean O'Malley on, you've had Tyron Woodley on, I've had the pleasure of being on, and many, many others as well. What's your philosophy when it comes to the YouTube side of things, which the numbers would suggest you're killing it, but you're doing it a lot differently than all the other fighters out there, in my opinion?
Yeah. So for me, I've been streaming on Twitch for 9 years, right? And then when I made the leap to YouTube, I was still streaming video games, which is my number one passion. And then I started to break down Street Beef videos, right? And I would laugh, and the reactions, I would get a lot of views from that. And a lot of people were like, dude, you should start breaking down, you know, professional level mixed martial arts, not just, you know, the Street Beef stuff. Then I was like, okay, well, I kind of want to do that. I kind of don't want to do that. And then I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's just see what it goes. Then I kept on doing, you know, the mixed martial arts, the UFC, the One Championship, PFL, right, whatever it is. I'm breaking it down. Then the more views. Then I, you know, hired Michael Wansover. We teamed up, and then things just kept on getting better and better. And I've always wanted to do a podcast. That's something I've always wanted to do, and having Michael with me as my co-host and partner, it just kind of blossomed into that. And for me, when I interview each of these guests, like Sean O'Malley, Tyron Woodley, we got a couple other people that we just did, I'm actually genuinely curious about their careers. Like, what's their mindset? You know, what gets them passionate about doing mixed martial arts or whatever it is they do. And I feel people are like, oh, you should make a reaction channel. You should make a gaming channel. You should make a podcast channel. I want it under one umbrella. I want the Mighty channel, the Mighty gaming, the Mighty podcast, the Mighty cast. I want all that stuff under one umbrella. And then, you know, if we get, you know, our ultimate goal is to be able to have a big platform, you know, pick up the podcast. And then we keep doing reaction videos. And then we have Spotify to do the listening or whatever. So we have goals, and we're just grinding, trying to eventually one day meet those goals.
You have been a guest on a lot of shows. What is it like for you to be the one asking questions? Do you find that challenging? Do you find that?
No.
No, okay.
No, I don't find it challenging, because when I ask these questions, like I said, I'm actually curious about what's going on in their mind. You know, we had a guest on the other 2 weeks ago. We haven't dropped it yet. And I was just picking his brain, like asking him straight up questions that I would ask him if the camera wasn't on us. And it turned out to be a very, very good interview. And yeah, it was very simple and easy and smooth.
What about booking the guests? Isn't it annoying? I mean,
that is,
God.
I will.
Isn't it freaking annoying? Now you see my life. You know, 15 years of this.
Yeah, I do. But, you know, luckily I built great relationships over time. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, all you do is ask. Like, one of the guests I want to have on that I haven't even asked yet is Nina. I think her name is Nina Maria, I believe. She's done amazing content with the UFC. And each time I watch her content, I'm always laughing. I think she's a very good comedian. a comedian, and I would love to know her story. And that's how like I find interest on finding these guests. Is like, I'm always on the internet and I see something pop up, and I saw one of her reels pop up of her getting adjusted by Alex Pereira, and she goes, "Who? That's not my I thought you were my chiropractor." And he goes, "No, who's that guy?" And I just lost it. And so yeah, that's a guest I want to have on, and we have other guests in mind that we want to have on the podcast. And it's just asking to see if they want to come on, and getting the right times and making it happen.
Can I tell you my thoughts on Nina? You didn't ask me my thoughts, but people are always asking.
Ariel, tell me your thoughts on Nina. Let me know what you think.
I think she does a great job, and I think it's very important to be unique and to look at what everyone is doing and do things differently. And so it's important to, I tried to do that as well when I came up. I was like, okay, people aren't doing interviews the way I think they should be done. Let me do things differently. Let me try to stick out that way, right? It's always important to be different, whether you're a fighter, whether you're a broadcaster, a comedian, etc. I think she does a fantastic job, and she has a great relationship and rapport with the fighters, it seems, and the brass. These are all very important things. The one critique, if I can offer, so I'm not a hater, I'm not like, it's, if I can offer one critique, no, I'm being serious. If I can offer one critique, it's, coming in and doing things differently and maybe having a bit of a spin, comedy, skits, whatever, is great. Breath of fresh air, it's different. Why, though, do you have to shit on the rest of the media? Do your thing. Be different. Be proud. Put out the good content. This whole make MMA media great again, waxing poetic, you're relatively new here. Imagine I came in and I was like, Josh Gross sucks. Loretta Hunt sucks. I'm gonna show everyone that I can. No, like, I'm not saying you have to go up there and shake everyone's hand. I'm not saying you have to kiss our feet. Do you? And I just believe in like trying to be positive, do your thing, work on your craft. But this whole thing of like, you all suck and I'm gonna make MMA media great again, which I don't really consider her MMA media per se. It's a different type of content. I just don't understand why you have to put people down who are also trying to do good stuff, good work, and get by. You may not be a fan of theirs, great. You may not like their content, great. But why the constant putting down? That's the part that I don't understand.
Yeah, I think that's something you're gonna have to ask her. I can't speak for her, but as I'll speak for myself, is I always believe I want to see everybody eat. I want to see everybody be positive, and I'm always positive about everybody else's content they put on YouTube. I like to be different. I like to not just break down professional mixed martial arts, but all the other stuff that actually makes me laugh, like the Andrew Tates, the Jake Paul, you name it, we break it down on the YouTube channel. And I feel for her, maybe it's just her trying to stand out. Like I said, I haven't even seen the drama. I would agree with you. I don't see her as an MMA journalist. I see her as a content creator who's very good in comedy, and she brings out the fighters' personalities, right? Like when I watch it, I see more of the fighter's personality and hers, instead of like, all right, Ilya Topuria, you're getting ready to take on Alex Volkanovski. How's training camp? She's like, if you were to rate me, what would you rate me?
Yeah.
So
it's different type of stuff.
But it's different type of stuff.
Yeah, there's different strokes for different folks. But you did bring up something that I definitely wanted to ask you about. I do see a lot of Tate Brothers content, influencer stuff. In fact, I may have learned what a Sneako is via your channel as well, or who a Sneako is. Sorry if I botched it. Point is, you definitely are leaning into this world. Is that because you are a fan of this world, or is it, to be as blunt as possible, you see these guys do numbers, so let me do this type of content?
So I didn't know who Sneako was until the Bradley Martin thing, where he was doing stuff with him. When I decided to go down this route and trying to build the best quality content on YouTube, I hired pretty much the best in the business. Me, Michael, we have an amazing thumbnail artist, Med. We have two gentlemen who do our social clips editing, Nick and Sammy. So when I do this, me and Michael, I believe we are equal. We look at things and like we saw Sean Strickland versus Sneako and they sparred. And the biggest thing we try to do is listen to the community. If you do not listen to your community and you don't have a community, you ain't shit. Essentially, right? Like if I just ignore what the community wanted, then the channel would be as good as it is. So we saw the community wanted it. Michael was like, I think this dude very good. I watched it, and when I watch it as an analyst standpoint. Like, okay, these are the things that Sneako can do well. These are the things that Sean Strickland does so well. But Sean Strickland does make mistakes, and so does Sneako. And I just try to bring those to light to the people who aren't as trained as I am. And that's how we do it. There's some things that do very well. And we're like, nah, I'm not interested in doing it. Right. And, even the Andrew Tate stuff, like that stuff did very well. And our community asked for it. Like I have a Discord where people literally post stuff and they want me to break down. And one of them was the Super Lake versus, I might get his name wrong, Takura. And I couldn't do it because there was some, stuff that I had to wait to do it. So I look at the community page on my Discord and on YouTube, and I basically go through, and me and Michael pick out what's going to be the best one and that we're going to enjoy breaking down, and we just do it.
Is there any part of you as a pro MMA fighter, and you hold great, power and skill, considering the skill that you possess, that feels a little funny about a UFC fighter in a cage at the PI against obviously a non-fighter? Or do you kind of see like the entertainment here and think, no harm, no foul?
No, I think there's two things. I think there's no harm, no foul. I think they could have did it behind, camera. Like I'm a big proponent of not like, if me and Henry Cejudo were the train, I'm not going to leave the room like, whoo, man, I tore Henry Cejudo's ass up. That time I need him in the face. I was up. I don't kiss and tell. Right. But obviously Sneako or these influencers, they are influencers. That's how they make their money, by streaming to the world and showing what happened essentially. And, I just, I think a lot of these guys, I want to see if they can actually go a couple rounds with professionals. And, that's one way to find out. It's just doing it. So, Forrest Griffin was there. Nobody died. Okay. He might have got a couple concussions, but, I was already thinking about this. I was like, the reason why we have medical checks is to make sure we have no aneurysms or anything wrong with our brain, anything like that. So, I mean, honestly, he could have fucking died if he had a blood clot in his head. I don't know, but either way you look at it, I don't know. It is what it is.
As you know, I have been flying the DJ flag for quite some time, long before, you were doing any of this. And I said at the top of the show, and I'm wondering if you agree, I feel like you are more popular now than when you were in the midst of your title reign in the UFC. Is that accurate? Do you agree with this statement? And if so, why?
I think so. Honestly, I don't know why. I feel like I've never changed. I'm more open and I speak more and I do a lot more content than usual. But I think, you know me since the very beginning. So do my friends. And, and a lot of my friends don't follow the mixed martial arts scene. So, but for me, yes, I do see I'm more popular now. I don't understand why. It could be because, when we made that trade and I went to one championship, I was a workhorse. Like that's one thing you cannot take away from me, is that I am a fucking workhorse. Like I show up to my fights. I cover all my bases, the grappling, Muay Thai, kickboxing, whatever it may be. And I always go out there and perform. And I think when the trade happened, they got Ben Askren and they got me, and I won a world title at 135, amazing knockout against Adriano, then go run it back for the third, and then obviously get knocked out the first one. I guess, to be able to get knocked out and then come back and fight Rodtang and then fight Adriano, win the belt, and then defend it. It's kind of like, hey, this guy's legit. Like he just, I don't know, but I don't know. That's a good thing. We should ask a poll. Maybe I'll do a community poll on YouTube and ask people, why am I more popular now?
I have a theory. If I may, I think
Absolutely.
you're allowing people to see the real you, and the real you is pretty damn entertaining. And I think that there was a time where you were not giving us the real you. I remember some of those interviews, and you weren't offering up much. You were never. We've talked about the evolution of your vocabulary. Now you drop F-bombs left, right, and center. But it's not just that. You're so relaxed. There's no nerves here whatsoever. You're just you doing your thing. It feels like people are really getting to know the true, authentic you, and they'll always connect with that. As opposed to in the past, you seemed a little bit reserved, or I don't know if you were nervous. I don't know if you felt like there was too much pressure. I don't know what it was, but this is a totally different guy than the guy I was talking to in Montreal before Kyoji Horiguchi, for example.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I was more reserved when I was doing my interviews, and I think that just comes from, you never know who you're going to, I guess, upset. I mean, I don't know the right word to use. And I would say over the years, being 37 and maturing, being more mature, I believe in my brand. I believe in my skill set. I believe when I speak on camera and the words I say, I mean what I say. And I think, you know, you kind of grow up and you either like me or you don't, right? Like there's people out there who don't like my fighting style. Oh, he's too small, blah, 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 blah. Dog, this is 5'3". This is what God made me as, and it is what it is. So I think for me, having that mindset, and even when I talk to Michael, I'm like, Michael, don't worry about that. Like, just we keep making great content. They're either gonna watch it or not. So for me, you're either gonna like me or not, and that's kind of like the how I roll, man.
Do you have any desire to be, in the booth, at the desk, like one of these TV jobs wearing the suit, or is this perfectly suited for you?
See, the thing I love about YouTube is that I am my own boss, right? I hold no allegiance to no one, right? Like if you're, Chael Sonnen, he does what he wants, but DC, he can't go cover, you know, PFL Rising One Championship or whatever. I could talk about whatever the hell I want, however the hell I want, and nobody can say, hey, you can't say that. I'm like, you paying my bills? Because last time I checked, it's the viewers who are paying my bills until you start paying me a fatter check. But that's the thing. That's one thing I love about like where I'm at in my career is that I can cover whatever I want because it's a passion of mine. And I don't know. I think I would love to do an analyst job and like commentate on the fights when I see what's going on, like Dominic Cruz does. And I plan on doing that for one championship when they come back to the States. But I truly love to have, I look at Joe Rogan as an inspiration where he can talk about what the hell he wants.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it. Like you can't, like if you were to talk about something, right? And then you have a guy who's like, don't say that, don't say that. You can't, you have to live along those lines. And for me, I had a conversation with Michael and he goes, dog, I don't know how I feel about that. And I was like, Michael, who gives a shit? I was like, it's how I feel. It's how I tell my kids. And it's how I tell another person. And he goes, all right, we were about to get canceled. I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, we get canceled, we get fucking canceled. But it's the truth. And
by the way, you can't get canceled if you don't work for anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
what were you saying? Can I ask you what this conversation was about?
It was basically about the genders. Like,
okay.
Somebody says, "Oh, I feel about two genders." Like, dog, there's only two genders. Yeah, they got a penis or you got a vagina. I don't care how you cut it. No other way you look at it. It's like Dr. Phil said this. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It doesn't know how thin the pancake is. There's always going to be two sides to it. So that's what I was talking to Michael about on the podcast. And I tell my children the same thing. My kids came home and they're like, Dad, there's a furry. And I was like, what the hell is a furry? He goes, it's when somebody identifies as an animal. And I was like, well, son, I don't care if he identifies as a goddamn dinosaur or a fucking cat. If that dinosaur's got a penis, that's a male dinosaur. If dinosaur's got a vagina, that's a female. And that's how I told my kids. And my kids were like, all right, Dad, sounds good. Now, a lot of people out there might be like, oh, you can't say that, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, why? Somebody told me when I was 12 years old, and I turned out just fine. Don't see what the problem is. So it's stuff like that I feel that you should be able to speak that way. And that's what I believe. And that's what I passed on my children. And when my kids have kids in 2045 and 2065, I'm still here, I'm going to tell them the same damn thing. So forth and so forth and so forth.
Is this your full-time job?
No, God, no.
What is your full-time job?
I don't know. I kind of don't know. Building my brand, I guess.
What is your brand?
You looking at it, baby.
Yeah, but this feels like it. Like I see you pump out a lot of freaking content.
Yeah, I still train. I still train, work out every single day, prepping for what's next. And yeah, man, like it's kind of weird. I'm self-employed. I'm always building my brand to a point where I never have to fight again.
What is next?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
You said, and I'm not going to pry, but you said when one championship comes, I'll be on the mic, So that would suggest not in the cage if you're on the mic. Unless you're doing
No, we talked to, I talked to one, me and Chacha, we talked and they're asking me, how do you feel about doing, a potential super fight with Mikey Misimichi? And I told him, I was like, honestly, that doesn't interest me. We were trying to get the Mikey Misimichi grappling match done, but we just couldn't come to terms. And now I'm just sitting here honestly waiting. You know, I'm gonna continue to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the gi. That's my passion right now. I've actually had offers to go to 80XC, the Abu Dhabi Championship, and compete in the gi there. But unfortunately, one championship has a grappling under their umbrella, so that would be a conflict of interest. So right now, you know, like I said, I'm just training. I train almost every single day and just sitting back and enjoying making content. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I saw a fighter, Umar Magomedov. He said the worst thing being a professional athlete is sitting there waiting by the phone for an opportunity. And in this time of me creating this content, you know, I've started taking acting classes because I wanted to try to, you know, do the acting thing. And I still want to. But when you go and audition for a role, you're basically asking the director, do I fit the description of what you want for me to play this movie? Now, for me, that flips back to being an athlete, once again, waiting for a promoter or organization to give you an opportunity to go make something. And for me, my wife told me the other day, we we're having dinner. She goes, you're not the type of personality where you wait for opportunities. You like to create your opportunities because you believe in yourself and you will work hard to succeed at the opportunity. And I was like, huh, I never looked at it that way, honey. She goes, yeah, like you hate being told that, oh, you can't do this because X, Y, and Z. So for me, I'm like, and Umar Nurmagomedov, I saw his post. He was like, it sucks waiting for an opportunity to go do something. And I'm like, I refuse to be an athlete like that. Like, I'm not going to sit back and wait for an opportunity. That's why I'm going hard in the paint with the YouTube, you know, the Mighty Cast, the reaction videos. And then I have things down the line working, you know, talking with video game producers. I got some dropping next week. I mean, I am just grinding while still, you know, staying in shape, training. I'm just a busy bee. I'm just always busy. Like when I got off the phone with you, I'm going back in the studio and creating more content.
When's the last time you've been to a UFC event?
Oh God. Probably when I fought Henry Cejudo. That's the last time.
You've never been as a fan, as a spectator?
No, not at all.
Why not?
I don't know. I'd rather stay home and create content and make money off it.
Have you been invited?
No, but I'm sure I still have good. I mean, I'm sure if I wanted to go, I could still go. Like, there's no bad blood between me and the UFC. Like, actually, the last time I was on UFC premises when I filmed the greatest athletes in 30 years.
Oh yeah.
I went there, saw Dom, saw Uriah, saw John Anik, saw DC, and it was good. Like, there's no, like, I'm pretty sure if me, Dana, were in a room, it would just be fine. There would be no, like, ill will whatsoever.
I don't know why there would be. I was just trying to think. I never see you sitting there in the front row or, you know, there's, you know, legend Demetrious Johnson. If we are rounding third, I want the Hall of Fame. I want you in the front row. I want the video package. I want all of that. You want this too, right?
I'm sure one day it will happen. And if it does, I'll definitely accept it. You know, I think the UFC has built my popularity. I built my popularity in the UFC. It's the premier sport in North America. So, and I think, you know, my kids are starting to get to that point now where they're understanding what I do and how good I am, I guess you can say. But if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, I'm not going to sit here, you know, hey, this is the call data. Okay, you're just telling me, okay, beep. Like, I'm not worried about it. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I want to ask you about a couple of 298 things, and then I'll let you go. You know Henry very well. You know Captain Eric very well.
Absolutely.
When you saw that clip of Henry firing Captain Eric, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw, Captain Eric has come on the show about an hour ago and said it was all real, and they just kind of now patched things up, which I don't know what to believe at this point with these two guys. Did you think it was real? What did you think?
You know, honestly, Henry is very good he's a very good salesman. He's very good. And so is Eric. They're very good about creating buzz about the fight. I think the biggest thing, and one, to be honest, I've only been in one of Henry's camp. I've only trained with Henry a couple times. And honestly, I think it could have been a good thing if it was true, which, you know, this is my opinion. I don't care if it's true or not. Sometimes I think we have too many cooks in the kitchen. You don't know who to listen to, right? Like, Henry has amazing coaches, amazing. But sometimes I think he has too many, my personal opinion. Like for me, it's just me and Matt, and then I have Professor Yan, and Professor Yan kills it with the grappling. I spend way more time in the gi now, and then when it comes to like the MMA, I will listen to Matt, and then when it's time for me to go fight, I don't have either in my corner. I have Tony and James. So I feel like with Henry, he has, I don't know all his coaches name by heart, but he has Eddie, he has Eric, then he has I think his name's Santino, I believe. He has so many coaches in there. And then I remember when I think he was about to fight me. You have Eric. We're about to storm the castle. We're gonna burn it down, Henry. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, like what? So he has so many ears. So I think him having just one master chef who doesn't. I think that's the best thing. My personal opinion. But Henry's a different animal than I am, so it is what it is.
He has said today he doesn't win this fight, he retires. Do you believe him?
Yeah, I think so. I think the type of personality Henry is, he wants gold. That's all he wants to fight for, and I don't blame him. Like, he's at this point in his career. He's 37, I believe. Oh, real quick, all those people out there, like, what's that ratio to winning a belt past 35? I can't remember what it is.
Something.
It's like,
yeah. A lot of people are talking about this now.
Hey, ladies, I want you to learn out there. I won the world championship with a beautiful flying knee at 35 years old, and then I went and defended that bad boy I was 37. Yeah, 37 years old. So make sure my black ass is on that, 2 and then 8, whatever it is, 2 or 10. Okay, but back to Henry Cejudo. I think he does, just because, if he loses this fight, obviously I think Merab is the number 1 contender in the bantamweight division because, he's beaten everybody. He's had 1 loss. He's on the longest win streak, but that's not what wins. That's not what gives you opportunities to fight for a championship in mixed martial arts nowadays. So if Henry loses, who does he fight next? Right? If he wins, he's right back there to fight for the belt against Sugar Sean O'Malley. There's some drama there. They're both from Arizona. It would sell a lot of tickets. So yeah, I don't see why not. What else does he have to prove? Right?
Okay. I'm not going to ask for your pick because I know you're going to give your pick later on in the week on the YouTube channel. So everyone go check that out. I do want to ask you, though, about the main event, and in particular this. There's like 9 different great storylines going into this. But what is interesting me the most is a lot of people have asked me, they asked me before Islam versus Volk 2 and right after Islam versus Volk 2 and leading up to it, including as recently as today, we were talking about it. Was it a mistake to take this fight against Islam, right? Was it a mistake? I think we could only answer the question whether or not Alex Volkanovski truly made a mistake by taking that fight on 11 days' notice on Sunday morning, because the knockout could either affect the rest of his career, change the trajectory of his career, change the course of his career, or, 11 days, back on track, smokes Topuria, dominates Topuria, and all's well that ends well. You've been in that spot before. A little bit older, you get knocked out, a very rare thing. You've not experienced this, and then you rebounded and got back on track. Do you have concerns that this knockout will affect what Alex does on Saturday?
I think the only way it affects him is just his brain, the shutoff switch. After somebody gets knocked out, like Chuck Liddell, a lot of athletes have gone through it. Once they get touched in the chin, they just go to sleep, That's the only way I can see it could affect him. I think mentally, I think he's going to be there ready to go. I think, one of the things about Volkanovski that's always impressed me is that his IQ, he outstrikes everybody that he's smaller than. So I don't think that knockout will affect him. I think the biggest thing is just him going out there fighting Ilie Topuria, who has a high IQ, very good boxing. He's just like, it's not very, I would say this, it's not very often when I see somebody fight and they do certain things and I'm like, ooh, yep, okay. Like, I think the last person who I felt that way about, to be honest, was Conor McGregor when he fought Diego Brandao. Like, the way he would control distance and how he would move and he would throw strikes and miss the counter and like, just how he puts himself into fire. I see Ilie Topuria do that. Like when he was fighting Josh Emmett and he fought another guy and he made the adjustments between the rounds, and his head movement, the X and Y axis. Like, I was like, okay, he knows what he's doing. Same thing with Alex Volkanovski. Now, Alex Volkanovski, he kind of, don't want to get too much now.
Okay.
Want to get too much. Y'all got to come back for the final predictions on the Mike Cast on the YouTube channel. So, but it's going to be a sick fight because those two are so good that the way they move, the way they approach the game, how they make the adjustments between the rounds, it's like, this is why I love doing what I do. This brings out the passion for me in mixed martial arts. Like when I watch Muay Thai and kickbox, I'm like, good, you're fucking stuck there. You're not athletic enough. That guy's way faster than you. He's way longer. You're not getting past his reach. You can't take it to a different realm and force him to do X, Y, and Z. So I get bored when I watch that shit. But when I watch MMA, I'm like, how are you going to solve this puzzle? He's faster. Like when I look at Alex Volkanovski, he fights Yair Rodriguez. Okay, Yair, you're longer than him. You should force Alex Volkanovski to cross the void and make a mistake. When he makes that mistake, you capitalize on it and you frustrate him. Let's see if you can do that. He couldn't do that. Alex stayed at the edge of the void, made him make some mistakes. Then he ended up catching him and knocks him out. Same thing when Alex fought Max Holloway. I was like, how the hell is Max not outstriking him? Like, he's longer, right? But Alex Volkanovski figures it out because he has his wrestling. He has to clinch. He has other things that he can bring to the table. And instead of Muay Thai, if I'm fighting a guy who's 6'3", but he weighs 150 pounds, and I'm 5'3", I have to get past that reach. I can't use my wrestling. I can't use my clinch. I'm stuck there. I'm stuck there eating fucking body kicks and trying to reach him. He just runs around. I'm like, boring. So, yeah, it's gonna be a sick fight, man. Like, I can't wait for it, and I cannot wait to give my live reaction to it.
Two last quick things. This is why I love your channel, by the way. Your channel breaks things down. The stuff is great, and you don't get into like the mud of the clickbaity, what's gonna happen. But now I'm gonna take you into that world for a second. Everyone, Chael has done 9 videos in the last 30 minutes on this topic alone. Who's going to headline 300? Who's your pick?
You know what? Honestly, I thought it was going to be Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. I was going to have Chandler on the Mighty Cast. We're trying to get that to happen. I was going to pick his brain on that because he's sitting there and he has a fight in 2 years waiting for Conor. But I understand why you want to wait for Conor because you get, the red penny night. You're going to make way more money if you fight him. So that's out of the hat. And then I saw the other day you had Hamzat, who's going to fight Leon Edwards. That's out of the hat because Hamzat said he's not going to fight during Ramadan. So honestly, Brock Lesnar versus Jey Uso.
Stop. Wow, look at you with the pro wrestling.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I couldn't.
Izzy DDP, what do you think of that?
You know what? See, this is me as a person. I would like to see Izzy. I don't like that fight.
Wow.
I don't like that fight for Izzy. Because I feel Izzy hasn't taken enough time. And I don't know. I'm not in his camp. My question would be to Izzy is, Izzy, have you taken the time to add more tools to your tool set? Because if I was to look at that fight right now strategically, okay, one of the things that Izzy likes to do, he likes to back up. He likes to counter punch. So if he likes to counter punch, DDP does a good job of not overextending. He doesn't back up. He usually takes the center of the cage and he moves forward. And he goes to the center and he goes either southpaw or orthodox. Now, Izzy, he likes to kick. He likes to poke and move and then hit somebody. That's what he likes to do. He does all the time. If the person doesn't overextend, you look at his past fights. Alex Pereira, he did overextend, but he also got in a gunfight. You look at Yoel Romero, he didn't overextend. You look at Sean Strickland, he doesn't overextend. So for me, if I was in Izzy's camp, I'm like, hey, Izzy, we're working your clinch game, we're working your wrestling game, we're working those two things. Because if somebody doesn't overextend or come towards you, then I want you to feel comfortable enough to come forward. And if you go back and watch Izzy's kickboxing, somebody posted a clip. Damn, that shit looked beautiful. If I could take that kickboxing of Izzy of going forward, the pressure fighter, and give him a nasty clinch and a beautiful double leg, he would be the middleweight champion, and he would beat my 11 consecutive title defense because his countering, his athletic ability, and his strengths of countering people are phenomenal. But if somebody doesn't overextend, is he comfortable enough to go in there and force the clinch, force the wrestling, force those things? And when he beats him up there, then he goes back to his countering, and then the countering becomes a lot more easier. So with all that, that's what goes in my mind when I think about Izzy versus DDP. Has Izzy taken the time off to develop that skill set? That's my question to him. Has he? If he says, no, I haven't, I'm like, then don't take the fight. If he says, I have, and I'm ready to go out there and force the fight, get in the clinch, start wrestling, take him down, pass his guard, try to submit him, then I'm like, okay, let's fucking do it. But if you haven't, then I want to do it because DDP, he has a style where he doesn't really back up. He doesn't really overextend. He's very good about his shell. He's very clunky on the feet. He's not, smooth and pop shit out there. But I just don't like that style. I don't like that matchup stylistically from my standpoint. But I'm always going to root for Izzy because I'm a big fan of him. But as me, as a martial artist, I'm like, no, you need time to develop those things that you're missing in your game that I see that you're missing. So, yeah.
Damn, it's so good when you mimic the fighters. I can watch that shit all day. You do it like when you did that video of like the Conor and the Henry and the DP.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking love that. Can you do more of that for us? Can you do not right now, but like for the channel?
Not right
now.
Do more? But if Andy asks, Andy is a gentleman I train with at Grapple Club. It was all his idea. He goes, "Dog, we got to do this, man." I was like, "Fine."
So good.
Because I did it for him, and so we'll see.
Last one. We were talking about this earlier. It's Valentine's Day. I don't know if you could see the set. It's there's a little bit.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
We were all talking, and it was pretty bad. I mean, it was pretty bad. Our responses. Someone asked me what our plans were for Valentine's Day, and the four of us on the show had nothing really. You're, longtime married, Destiny legend. Are you a big Valentine's Day couple? Do you guys do anything? Do you have any plans, or are you like so far past that at this point that you don't have to do it? Every day is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I mean, you already know, baby. Yeah. Every day is Valentine's Day. But we're going out to dinner. We all got gifts. We got gifts to the kids, and we're gonna go out and have a nice
gifts for the kids. Gifts for the kids too, huh?
Yeah. I don't want to. Yeah. Gifts for the kids.
Wow. Okay, so you've just shown us all up. All right. Okay.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like I got Tanit the teddy bear. I didn't get the boys anything.
Just the daughter.
Just the girls.
Okay.
I told my boys, I said, my boys, my oldest has a girlfriend and he got her some flowers and he got her a box of chocolate. And then my middle son doesn't have a girlfriend and my daughter, she's 5, so she's not dating anybody. But I told the guys, like, dude, you get chick stuff, not dudes. You get chick stuff. Okay. This is a dude giving a girl holiday kind of thing. Right. So, but yeah, I'm not giving my boys anything. They get enough shit.
Okay. I was feeling bad because I did get my daughter something too. By the way, your son has a girlfriend. How old is he?
He's 10.
Damn, 10, huh?
It is what it is.
Good for him. Much respect.
Yeah, I'm at for him. Like, I think, he came home and goes, "Hey, Dad, no, this is not my department. This is my wife's department." He came home, asked my wife, like, "Hey, can you take me to the store, get my girlfriend? I want to get her some roses." And my wife goes, "Yeah, absolutely." And he goes, "Can I get some chocolate too?" I was like, "Yeah." And then Destiny's like, "Wow, I think he's learning from you because he sees you, get me flowers and da 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 da." And I was like, "That's good. That's how I want him to see. Like, this is how you treat a woman. Like, you take care of them, you pamper them, you be there for them." So it's good. I'm happy for him.
What a guy. You're the man, DJ. Thank you so much. Everyone needs to go check out the YouTube channel. Are there other places to get the you mentioned the Discord. Where else should we tell people to go?
Yeah, right now it's just the YouTube channel. Mighty Gaming. Mighty. We're dropping the Volkanovski, his breakdown where he fought Yair Rodriguez, what makes him so special, his IQ so high. And then we're going to do the final predictions on Friday and then the instant reaction on Saturday. So do not miss it. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, there are free fights on Friday. 1 championship, John Haggerty, 2-sport champion, Muay Thai, kickboxing champion, taking on Lobo. I think John Haggerty is going to send this man to the canvas. Make sure you check that out. Amazon Prime on Prime Video. I know all you guys are on your mom's Amazon Prime subscription, so check it out. And check out the YouTube channel.
I love it. Keep it up, my friend. Well done to you and Michael, the whole crew. Well done. And thank you for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Errol. Appreciate you, baby.
There he is, the great Demetrious Johnson. What a guy. And boy, did he show us up. I mean, man, he had the whole freaking thing going. He had the whole freaking thing. Valentine's Day, gift for the daughter, dinner, all that stuff.
I mean,
What
I
a
decorate
match.
the house. I send
No.
a bouquet of roses. I got
No, you did a good job
later.
too.
I mean, I do nothing. I mean, you were like the four of us. We didn't have one single thing.
No, you did a good job too.
No.
I would say, or like, there's always a little bit more. Would you say there's a little bit more pressure pre-marriage, right? Yeah, you have to set a tone. You have to.
I actually think it's like, really, it's just the first like
the first one,
two, like the first like 2, maybe 3, is when there's like real pressure.
First one is the biggest. First one is
the first one. There's actual pressure.
Yeah,
you really got to deliver on that one. Second one, the pressure is lessened by the third one. Like the pressure isn't there. Still nice to do something, of course.